All right. Greetings. Welcome back to Black Bear News, where everything is connected. How y'all doing? We are live on YouTube, Rockfin, and on Callin. Clayton says it's finally snowy in Michigan. Okay. Nice. Max RJ, you got lemons? Good, good. I got oranges. I don't have a lemon tree. I wish I did. I have an orange tree, and the orange tree is popping off right now. Okay. Um, to answer some people's questions about somebody getting banned. When people make threatening statements to other people, I take that very seriously. Very seriously. Okay. So I've had quite a few complaints. So I don't know. I don't really know. I just in order to, you know, I don't know, protect and or, you know, just protect, I guess, the sanity and the well-being of people in the chat that are here all the time. You know, I don't know. I have to take those kinds of reports seriously. So, I don't really like to ban people. I really hate to do it. It's really a very last ditch thing that I do. I don't block people like, blocking you. I'm not gonna go into details right now. Honestly, I'm not gonna do that. But that's, it's just really, really not cool when I hear multiple times from people that something is going on. You know, there's gotta be a line somewhere, right? There's gotta be a line somewhere. So, that's a line. So that's why, if anybody wants to know, that's why. And I think that's a damn good reason. If you have a problem with it, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah. All right. So, just that aside, if anybody's curious as to why that happened, that's why that happened. Cool. All good. All good. Yeah, I just, I don't like to hear that kind of stuff. I don't like to see it. I don't like to see people telling me about it. And so, once in a while I gotta do it. Once in a while I gotta do it. I wish I didn't have to do it. It really, yeah. Got it. Okay, obsolete optics. So you understand then. So that's why, it really takes a lot to push me to that point. But if you've gotten to that point, then understand that you did everything you could to deserve that one. You really did it all. So there you go. So if I ever get to that point, I feel no kind of way about it. I feel no kind of regret or remorse about it. All right, that's enough of that. Anyways, what's up, people? What's up, Rockfinners? How you doing, Rockfinners? Oh, I did get an overnight coffee tip from Andrew Lubbers. Thank you. Bought me 5 coffees. Thanks, Andrew. I appreciate that. That's a really good way to support the channel. buymeacoffee.com/blackbearnews. There's the address there. Rockfin tips are totally cool too. YouTube tips, you can do that too. There's other addresses in the description box where you can donate: Venmo, PayPal. I mean, not PayPal. Cash App, etc. all those things. Patreon too. All right. Let's talk about a few things. We're going back to climate change today. From Zach Labe, 2022 was the hottest year on record for our oceans. And I'm sure there's lots of people out there to try and debunk this news. I don't know, but yeah. So that's not good, right? This is where we're at here. You know, this is the general trend where we're going. This is the trend line. The trend line is going which way? I'll give you a hint. It starts with the letter U. And that's not good. But that's where we are. Let's see what's next here. This is also not good. Yes, some parts of the world are very cold. Remember we were talking about the polar vortex in China, and also hello over here in North America and Canada. Very frigid, very cold. But look at this. On top of the world, it's super hot. Arctic is 3.55 C above average, a temperature anomaly. That's super warm. And that's like all the time now, right? That's all the time. So that's going on. Yeah, I see. William, thanks for the. Yep. Paul Beckwith. Paul Beckwith, longtime discusser of, climate change or what we're doing to the planet and all that kind of good stuff. He'll give you some science and some facts. I love this tweet. Methane is not plant food. To all the CO2 is plant food people. Yeah, methane is not plant food and is dangerously spiking, says Jeff McFarland from Doomer's Cafe. Going up. Methane going up. And guess, Miss Elise says it's 6C in Edmonton, Alberta. Plus 6C. Plus 6C temperature anomaly. That's not good. If I'm reading that right. Anyways, methane, CO2, people are concerned about CO2. CO2 is up 50% from where we used to be a couple hundred years ago. Guess how much methane is up from where we used to be? 3 times. That's a lot, right? So it's if you're worried about CO2, or maybe you're not because it's plant food, maybe you should worry about the methane too, which is up a whole lot. Scott Andrews says at the rate things are going, gardening season will begin in February. T-shirt weather in Edmonton in January is an anomaly for sure. Yeah, I bet. I'm happy it's T-shirt weather here in Southern California. That's not unusual. But it was a little bit chilly there for a couple weeks, and kind of not not so great, but it's kind of warm. The sun's out. It's warmed up. I'm wearing a t-shirt. It's kind of nice outside. Sun's shining, warming you up, warming everything up. Miss Elise says that's 42.8 Fahrenheit. 42 Fahrenheit in Edmonton. That's just in January is probably not. People are wearing shorts there. Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure that is unusual as all get out. That is not so. If you are experiencing some local weather, like oh, it's really cold, or oh, we got a lot of snow, or oh, all the rain we got. Oh, what about this climate? It must be the climate change must be over, right? If you're experiencing local weather and you're making decisions on that, maybe consider that other things are happening elsewhere in the planet, on the planet, that don't even line up to anything regular whatsoever. that are eye popping anomalies, right? Eye popping, like what the hell is going on? Like what is going on? Scott Andrews says I'm going to plant lettuce early. Yeah, watch out though for that April. You know, in an age of climate, weather extremes. Watch out for that April freeze out of nowhere. Yeah, I mean, but it's a good time to start planting things. I'm trying to plant some things myself. I got some garlic growing. That's making me excited. I actually need to get on some planting some other things because it's January. It's already January and it's already warming up. So I figure maybe if I start now, I'll probably have a whole bunch of goodies pretty soon. All right. What else is going on? Oh, they are mining in Africa. That's what's going on. Miss Elise says it was 3.2 Fahrenheit last year on this day, and that would be around about right, right? That would be the usual or close to the usual, or I don't know, or maybe that might be even warm for Edmonton. I don't know. Yeah, I guess you got to time the lettuce right, Scott Andrews, right? Like lettuce is, yeah, here in LA, like lettuce and all those kind of and the greens and stuff are good to plant in the winter because it's kind of cool. Lettuce, kale, collards, all that kind of good stuff are good winter crops here. But if it's too cold, then it's not gonna work. Anyways, this is from Jeremy Lafredo. This is what the West's green sustainable digital revolution looks like in Africa. I spoke to Siddharth Kara about the very bottom of the EV supply chain and Bill Gates' new copper mining project in Zambia. Did you guys know that Bill Gates had a copper mining project in Zambia? Okay, I got it. Miss Elise says negative 20 Fahrenheit is the low for this day, or the usual low, or is the low for this day in Edmonton. Okay, negative 20 Fahrenheit. So 42 degrees is kind of like, I guess it is summer, spring or summer, right? Hambone has a book. Did he write a book? I didn't even know that. That's cool. Baldrove Lamppost says our kale survived freezes and 115 Fahrenheit summers with little water. Yeah, kale is fairly hardy. I actually had some kale plants growing for like 2 years that they were given a lot of kale for a couple years, and then now they're gone. It's very sad. I had a kale forest going, and so I had kale all the time, which was nice because I like a salad. I like a salad every day. I like some kale salads every day. All right, let's check this out from the Gray Zone. U.S. Africa Leaders Summit promises more exploitation for Africa, record profits for U.S. mining firms. Recent deals between U.S. Secretary of State Tony Blinken and African heads of state promise eye-popping profits for U.S. mining multinationals and fewer protections for African laborers toiling in subhuman conditions to drive the digital revolution. Anyways, the U.S. Africa Leaders Summit held this December in Washington, D.C., provided a platform for the Biden administration to advance its agenda across the African continent, with topics ranging from COVID-19 to climate change to closing the digital divide to strengthening democracy. Washington's agenda united around the belief that African collaboration with U.S. multinational corporations, what could go wrong, would prove mutually beneficial and advance long-term progress, quote unquote, progress. The weekend of discussions was conducted Davos style with heads of U.S. industry seated directly beside African heads of state and members of the Biden administration. At the top of the corporate titans agenda was the relaxation of regulatory requirements. Of course. Yeah. Sounds pretty neoliberal. Sounds very neoliberal, right? Got to relax those regulatory requirements, don't we? Which they argued would make the continent more inviting for outside investment. One set of regulations that the U.S. would especially like to loosen are those relating to the mining sector because these pesky people want children to not work in mines or maybe not lose their hands while they're working in mines and stuff like that. These people. This includes miners' rights, child labor laws, slavery laws, environmental regulations, and mineral tariffs. Deloitte, a U.S. corporate giant and strategic partner of the World Economic Forum, published a paper in 2018, The Future of Mining in Africa. That sounds really great, right? I bet it had, a picture of a vista, an African vista. Maybe a native African standing there looking far off into the distance, like, yeah, it's going to be good. Future of Mining in Africa, which spells out the agenda Washington is advancing across the continent. The paper argued that facilitating the digital transformation known as the Fourth Industrial Revolution would require African nations to loosen mining regulations intended to protect human rights and the environment. I thought that they wanted to care for the planet. I thought they cared about the planet. I'm confused because I've been told that all these people, the Davos people, the WEF people, and all those people, I was told that they're doing the things to help the planet. But this doesn't sound like that, does it? Anyways, the paper lamented that the mining sector continues to experience scrutiny by regulators in Africa, which supposedly creates uncertainty, delayed investment in mining expansion, and stops the development of new mines. Those pesky regulators in Africa. Deloitte went on to argue that Africa needs to move away from enforcing regulatory compliance for compliance sake. They're just trying to enforce these rules for a rule's sake. They're just trying to be efficient and stuff. For compliance sake, a move towards delivering value. That is beautiful. It was clearly implied that the value would be determined by corporate America and not necessarily the African people. Again, Getting into bed with multinational corporations, what could go wrong? I mean, because all these people, they're talking about stakeholders and stuff. If you get in bed with the multinationals, you're a stakeholder. But what we want from you as a stakeholder is to quit your yapping. Just be a silent investor, dear stakeholder, dear African stakeholder. The script put forward by Deloitte helped set the stage for the U.S. Africa Leaders Summit this December. There, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken presented a memorandum of understanding to DRC Foreign Minister Christophe Lutundula and Zambian Foreign Minister Stanley Kakubo. The agreement, according to Blinken, opened the door for U.S. and like-minded investment in the respective countries' vast green mineral wealth, referring to massive deposits of nickel, cobalt, and copper. Let's get to getting, boys. The DRC produces more than 70% of the world's cobalt. Zambia is the world's 6th largest copper producer, 2nd largest cobalt producer in Africa, Blinken said. We surely like Zambia these days. Global demand for critical minerals is going to skyrocket over the next decades. Electric vehicles help reduce carbon emissions, and they support the global response to the climate crisis. So that's why we need to get rid of these regulations that are there to possibly protect the people from being chewed up and spit out. Anyways, this was said by the Secretary of State, draping the plundering of Africa's wealth in friendly green speak. Siddhartha Kara, an academic and author of 4 widely praised books exposing the business of human trafficking and slavery in Africa, has spent several years in rural Congo documenting the most hideous and largely hidden abuses of U.S. multinational supply chains and mining operations. Kara remarked to the Gray Zone that the agreements hashed out at the U.S.-Africa Summit will mean more demand for minerals used in EVs, leading to more exploitation, abuse, and misery for women, children, and men who scrounge the world's cobalt out of the dirt in the DR Congo. Transnational billionaires aim to control all the world's reserves of key minerals. The U.S.-Africa Summit culminated with an event called the Deal Room, in which leaders of industry, the Deal Room, get in there, boys, let's get a deal done, let's get it done, in which leaders of the industry announced and celebrated successful agreements with African nations. Among the corporate executives to appear inside the Deal Room was KoBold Metals' Josh Goldman. KoBold Metals is a new tech mining company founded by Microsoft's Bill Gates. Oh, see? And backed by Amazon's Jeff Bezos and Virgin's Richard Branson. Oh. I see what's going on here. The company relies on AI and advanced imaging systems to find and mine rare earth mineral deposits that other mining giants have missed. Our job at KoBold is to invent better ways to find the metals to electrify the world, or electrify the world economy. Copper, cobalt, nickel, and lithium. We are working to discover the deposits that will become the next generation of mines and produce the materials that we need to avoid catastrophic climate change. Yes. Yes. First of all, we got to do a lot of mining first before we save the world from catastrophic climate change. And we also have to burn a lot of fossil fuel trying to figure out where we're going to mine and actually do the mining and actually ship the minerals to the place and actually produce the green. Yeah, you know where I'm going with this. Anyways, how many rare earth minerals does Gates, Bezos, Branson Company aim to mine and own? All of them, in fact. The Kobold website candidly states that the company aims to secure control over all of the world's reserves of nickel, cobalt, lithium, and copper. Wow. That's well, we need them all. We want them all. In the deal room, Kobold's Goldman announced a new mining project in Zambia. I'm here to announce the largest investment yet in our company's history, an investment to own, develop, and explore. Zambia is a place where the laws support investing and where the government supports our investment with actions that are transparent and fair and fast, Goldman said. Well, okie dokie. They're probably more interested in the fast part than the transparent and fair part. According to the World Economic Forum, our friends at the World Economic Forum, by 2030, U.S. multinational corporations like Microsoft, Amazon, Tesla, and Google will require 17 times more rare earth minerals to power Western consumer smart devices and electric cars for the coming green revolution. 17 times. In 7 years. We need 17 times. Oh, yeah. 17 times. Consider that. In 2021, the U.S. Department of Defense explained that Africa has a plethora of strategic minerals or materials, describing those resources as critical to 21st century progress. And according to the New York Times, the latest line of electric vehicles rely on a host of minerals and metals, often not abundant in the oil-rich Middle East, which sustained the last energy era. These minerals are in another historical target of rapacious colonialism, Africa. In Siddhartha Kara's view, the growing demand for green batteries is driving a scramble to extract vital metals out of the ground as quickly as possible. The mineral rush has left thousands of workers with no protections while toiling in subhuman conditions for a few dollars a day to feed vital battery minerals up the chain to consumer-facing tech and EV companies worth trillions. Hold on, guys. I'm just scrolling on down to see how far we got. I think I can finish this. I'm going to listen to some. We're going to listen a little bit to a show called The Arcadians, or Simon Michaud. We're going to listen to, we're just going to listen to a little bit of this after I read this. He's talking about the green revolution and whatnot. Switching out our former energy source for another energy source, our former technological, what ran everything, technologically, formerly for something new, and how that might be a myth. Draping exploitation in the language of sustainability, industry participants in the Davos, Switzerland-based World Economic Forum proudly embrace what they believe is a kinder, gentler economic model known as stakeholder capitalism. No longer will these corporate giants obey the will of shareholders at the expense of human rights and equity. Instead, they are collectively moving forward toward a seemingly progressive vision that sees all of humanity as a stakeholder and are working in its interest. Well, what if you don't want to be a stakeholder in this particular corporation? That's what it's Corporation Earth. What if you don't want to be a stakeholder? What if you just want to live on Earth? Without all the corporate stuff going on. Industry participants in, I read that. No longer will these corporate giants obey the will of shareholders. I read that. The mentality of stakeholder capitalism is clearly reflected in the tech and electric vehicle industry's public relations campaign around their supposedly sustainable supply chains. A 2019 class action lawsuit filed on behalf of injured Congolese miners shatters the industry's rhetoric about ethical operations. This is the reality of being a so-called stakeholder. The suit alleged that Alphabet, otherwise known as Google, Apple, Dell, Microsoft, and Tesla, are aiding and abetting the cruel and brutal use of young children to mine cobalt. However, the complex nature of the tech industry's raw material supply chains, which change hands dozens of times between a wide array of unofficial and official groups, has made it practically impossible to pinpoint the origin of cobalt minerals. It was this deliberately opaque process that enabled the tech giants to dodge the Congolese miners' lawsuit. Apple, for its part, has released an official 20-page document promising that the company's supply chains have been certified ethical by a third-party supply chain investigator. Kara, the researcher of slavery in the African mining industry, dismissed claims like those by Apple as little more than optics and marketing campaigns that rarely, if ever, touch the bottom of corporate supply chains. The assumption is, if we say we are ensuring dignity and sustainability all the way down our supply chains, people will believe us, and business can carry on as usual. The truth, Carr explained, is that there is a global subclass of humanity in appalling conditions at the bottom of our global economic order in the mining sector. With the demand for materials for EV batteries set to increase by 87,000%, according to a 2020 study. All right. And can you think about how big that number is? 87,000%. According to a 2020 study by Sussex University, the mining industry will be compelled to continually exploit new areas of the developing world and new populations to keep pace. And just as the U.S. waged regime change wars and conducted long-term military occupations across the Middle East to secure control over the fossil fuel energy sources Western consumers demanded, similarly coercive tactics could supplement memoranda like the one the U.S. signed at its recent summit with Zambia and the DRC. Sounds like some funny business is afoot. And I don't like it. I'm just going to say. All right. I'm going to take a little break. Check it on the coffee contributions, if there are any as of yet today. No, not yet. Checking up on Rockfin. What's up, Rockfin people? How you doing? How are you? Thank you for being here on the Rockfin, which is a good, really good alternative free speech type channel. What's up, DB Cooper? Where's Harbin? Oh, you're talking about the air quality in Harbin? Is that in where is that? Is that China? I'm not sure. I'm a little confused. Harbin is 4.4 times above the recommended limit given by the WHO in air quality guidelines value. Wow. Not good. What's up, Amber King? Saying good morning. And Basil Peterson, thank you for the tip. I appreciate you. Right on. You were in a jury. You got dirty jury duty. That's interesting, Basil. Or was it interesting? I guess is my question. I've never done the jury duty yet. Not yet. All right. Let's get into this other thing I wanted to play for you. Let's see if I can find the good spot here. Hold on. This is, I'm going to just play some of this. Whoop. Okay. This was recorded in 2022, October 2022, and it's just kind of about the new, the green energy push and the reality of that. So let's listen to this.
How we start to prepare for what's ahead. What is the hard work that's going to need to be done, and what are the buckets that people and governments need to focus on? So that's what I'd like to talk about. But in case people missed the first episode and the intervening months in between, maybe you could give a 5-minute elevator pitch of how we got here as a society and the current constraints from a biophysical perspective.
Sure. So that conversation's already started, right? I'm already hearing people are digesting this, they're understanding it, and they're doing the math very quickly. And now they're coming after me, and they're deadly serious. They want a plan, and they're starting to talk to each other. So this is very timely. So where we got to last time? Well, so I described the idea that over the last 150 years, we built a industrial ecosystem that is amazingly complex. And it was actually built using really, really catalytically dense energy, oil. And it was built and optimized around cheap, abundant energy like we've never seen, but also free and easy available credit and capital. And also the idea that all mineral resources are abundant. It's just a matter of digging them up. Right, so that's where we've got to. But now we're finding, and we've taken those things so much for granted that we don't even see them anymore. Energy blind, minerals blind. So now we're in a situation where we want to build a new system. And that system is going to be built with really, really fragile and expensive energy. Ineffective and expensive energy using a fragile finance system. That's probably a better way to say it. So our finance sector is not in a fit state to engage in industrial reform. And now we're also finding, because energy is becoming a problem, and natural resources are decreasing in grade and getting harder to get hold of. So our ability to bring more resources online are getting harder and harder. At the same time, we have a massive pollution stream that is historically unprecedented, and an environment that is deteriorating. That's the only way to describe it. Deteriorating at all levels. And we've got an unprecedented number of human population embedded in this system. So we've got a massive challenge, and our tools to meet this challenge simply, we're just unprepared, right? And so we need to actually change our paradigm quick smart. And so fossil fuels is our energy system that we've developed so far. They're becoming unreliable. It's not just concepts like peak oil. There's a whole host of above-ground problems, which means we're not managing the below-ground resources very effectively or very intelligently. And we're now sort of seeing in Europe, for example, gas in particular has become politicized and weaponized. And that's actually having a direct effect on our industrialization. I believe all three fossil fuels have a purpose that we don't really understand until they're gone. Like manufacturing is absolutely dependent on coal. And the heating of coal, if we phase out coal, we lose a lot of our manufacture with no viable substitute. Gas is a similar problem. We can't balance our power grid without it. Supply and demand must balance, and we won't be able to send large quantities of energy into remote areas through a gas pipeline. And then there's oil, which we're a petroleum-driven society, and our plans to actually phase out petroleum internal combustion engine technology is not going to go so well, because we actually don't have the plans to do so. We don't have the mineral resources in the ground to deploy enough of those vehicles in time. So how to actually put this? Our plan was not thought through in context of the time needed, our industrial capacity, and our ability to supply the raw materials needed. And so a new plan is needed, and a new paradigm is needed. What would you add to that?
Well, I would add a lot, but that's a pretty darn good summary. I mean, I think I would add complexity and the fragility of six-continent supply chain, the inability of global leaders to actually say some of the things that you're saying, because that would cause a phase shift in how we approach the resource situation. I would add that everything is optimized for growth, and we will kick any possible can forward. So the default would be to grow a bigger global system using more fossil fuels and more renewables, even with renewables growing at a faster rate. And in the process of decarbonizing our energy source, as you pointed out, we will rematerialize our mineral and product source on the manufacturing side. So we're pushing against multiple limits. And I think what I would add is if we had made this shift 50 years ago, it could have been a gradual year-on-year thing. But now, because we've kicked so many cans, we're in this financial cul-de-sac. And we're going to kind of be in this era the way that we are now until we're not. And the until we're not part will come suddenly. And it will be sharp. And then we're going to have to hopefully have things on the ground and responses in motion, because it's not going to be a couple percent a drop because of the financial system, because of all of the because we had lower productivity on energy, more costly energy, and lower productivity on minerals. Lithium is like 8 times what it was a few years ago. We're offsetting those productivity declines by adding more debt. And as eventually we won't be able to add more debt, and then we kind of have a musical chair situation. But other than that, I think you said it quite well.
Yeah, that's a lot to dig into there. I don't know. I kind of feel like I just want to listen to more of this. But you guys can go listen to this whole conversation. You see the title there on the screen. Simon Michaud, The Arcadians, if you want to just Google that. I think you can find it. Yeah, we're not going to end the growth paradigm anytime soon. And so even the World Economic Forum, the mustache twisters that everybody's like, well, they're going to do in all the people and then somehow kick everybody off this like consumer-based growth paradigm, like that. That's not going to happen. I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen. I mean, is it concerning? Sure. Are the plans afoot to do that concerning? Sure. I'm not saying that they don't have things in mind. I'm just saying it ain't going to happen because it's people who actually are concerned about climate change and are concerned about the destruction of the planet have the same concerns about, we got to stop this growth paradigm thing that's happening. And that's again mostly falling on deaf ears, and it just nobody is willing to even take that idea on. And so whether it's coming from a community like a people powered campaign, or whether it's coming from billionaires that supposedly care about the planet, it's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. I mean, and what he said was correct. Like, it's mostly going to just be a sharp, like, what he said in so many words, but didn't use the word collapse. But it will, the actual way that it looks. I'm not saying that I want this. I'm not saying that I think that this is the best way, and actually it's the worst way. But the way that it will most likely happen is just straight up collapse. And that won't be fun. That won't be fun for anybody. That's not going to be fun. All right. I'm winding down to kind of gliding into the end here of the show. Did anybody see this article? Scientists warn that eggs are causing thousands of people to suddenly form blood clots. Yeah, the headline says it all, right? I mean, that's totally I mean, that's, that's science, right? Suddenly, people have been eating eggs for a long time and meat, right? But and maybe over a long time it might cause you to form blood clots or hardened arteries or whatever maybe. But they're saying suddenly. Now it's just you suddenly just got some blood clots, and sure. Sounds good to me, right? Sounds good to you, right? Sounds viable. Sounds like some science. And remember old Seth Rich, and how that there was the story around Seth Rich has been hotly debated as maybe not a good story, but anyways, or not the real story. The FBI just admitted in court filings that Seth Rich was the person who sent DNC files to WikiLeaks. Add it to the list of things I was right about. This is Danielle St. John. I don't know who she is. They're saying they need some context. Hold on here. I'm not trying to look for. Oh, readers added what they wanted you to know. Hold on. We're going to keep going. Anyway, so that's interesting. Somebody says these are not. These are things filed by the plaintiff. I don't know if I'm going to go all the way through this and find the FBI response, but she basically summed it up there for you. Somebody else trying to come in. I'm just looking at this thread here. I mean, nobody knows for sure what happened there, but it's an area of concern for people, right? People have ideas about it. This person says what the FBI disclosed mentions nothing about Seth Rich sending files to WikiLeaks. Attached is what the FBI disclosed. Hold on. Sorry, I'm just reading this. But he's saying that it's interesting, but it's not confirmation or admission from the FBI that Seth actually did anything. Okay. I don't know, but the people still have questions about what happened to Seth Rich. But they certainly were upset about those WikiLeaks. The DNC emails that went out, like Creative Experiment says overpaying for eggs will give anyone a blood clot. That's right. Or an aneurysm. A brain clot. Sorry. I mean, I got my ideas about Seth Rich, and I think a lot of people have ideas about Seth Rich, but they all of that is to say that they really, really did not like those WikiLeaks, those emails being released. They were very upset about that because, man, the things that were revealed actually were incredibly interesting and really did a lot of damage to the DNC and to, and really exposed quite a bit of, how it is these people operate, right? And they did not like that at all. When you're exposed like that, they get really upset. Yep, Basil. The people that have died close to the Clintons is vast and includes whole countries. Haiti, Libya, Honduras. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I can't say. I can't say. Okay. I shouldn't say that word. Blood clots, though. I'm just saying blood clots. Maybe I can't say that word. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, those WikiLeaks. Maybe I can't say the word WikiLeaks. Maybe I shouldn't say that word. It's just the name of an organization, y'all. The volume is very low. I'm sorry. All right, guys, that does it for me. Just talking about this and that today. Thank you for hanging out with me today and every day on the Rockfins, the YouTubes, the call-ins. Appreciate y'all. I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday. So Friday we're gonna hang out. Hopefully we'll get some callers tomorrow. We'll have, more of a just kind of an open chat kind of thing. The Friday thing, the Friday whatever it's called. Friday Fix is what I was calling it for a while. We'll call it Friday Fix for now. So come hang out with me tomorrow. All right, thank you. Thanks, Extra Bulla. Appreciate you. All right, guys. Peace out, and until next time.